scout is trustworthy,
loyal,
helpful, friendly, courteous, kind,
obedient,
cheerful, thrifty,
brave,
clean, and reverent.
Gabe and I pretty much grew up together. We really didn't meet until probably we got in high school. I knew Gabe, around Gabe because, we had our scouting troop and Gabe was in Troop 6, which was kind of the closest troop to us. And so I would run across Gabe at scouting events from time to time as we interacted with each other. But Gabe and I really got to know each other when we both became freshmen at the first freshman class at Roy Miller High School back in the late 80s. And, our friendship kind of flourished from there. First off, Gabe is a man of God. And we both share a strong faith, and I always respect that about Gabe. He's a family man. He's got a beautiful family. Lisa and his girls are everything to him, and so I respect how he makes family a priority. I try to do the same, and we've always leaned on each other. Trying to be the best version of ourselves in that regard. Our kids actually kind of grew up together because we used to go on vacation and do things. His girls and my girls are almost the exact same age. So, we've all just spent time together growing up. So I've gotten an up close and personal look at how Gabe carries himself as a father and as a husband, and I think he sets a really good example for others to follow. And he's just a great leader. He's always been a leader. When I met him, in high school, Gabe was president of our freshman class, and then he went on to become student council president, and I became class president. Following his footsteps, and he's just always been that guy. I could probably spend an hour talking about all the ways that Gabe reflects what it is to be, a scout, and he went. Unlike me, he went all the way. There's a very, very small group of people who can claim the rank of Eagle Scout because it's a commitment, and none of us really knew back in those days Gabe was finishing, his Eagle Scout. All of a sudden, boom, turn around and Gabe, has gained that rank, and we were all super proud of him, but we really didn't know he was actually working on it until he was done. But in terms of kind of Gabe as a friend, as a confidant, as a businessman, I would put trustworthy and loyal at the top of those lists. I mean, if Gabe is your friend, Gabe is going to show you he's your friend by the actions he takes. So Gabe is as trustworthy an individual as I've ever met. I typically don't spend time with people as friends that I don't find trustworthy, and Gabe is certainly that. But I will tell you this: I have never, one of the things that I think the community should be maybe most proud of Gabe is that he's a Latino leader, responsible for the King Ranch Bank, Clayburgh Bank, and that's nothing to be overlooked. I mean, from a career perspective, Gabe, is an example for young Latino leaders that of what you can be if you work really hard and you do things the right way. He gives everything he does that he cares about his all, and 99.9% of the time he's going to be successful. He's a port commissioner. How many Latinos have been port commissioners? For God's sakes, that's the biggest board you can be on in Corpus Christi. And so, when you add it all up, man, career, family, faith, all the things that make somebody a worthy individual of recognition, Gabe is that person. So Gabe, I really appreciate you asking me to make some comments tonight. I couldn't be prouder of you, brother. You've accomplished so much, and I'm proud to call you really more than my friend. You're my brother, and you're one of those people that when it's been too long, I miss you, and so I want you to have a great night tonight. Nobody is prouder of you, and nobody is more worthy of this recognition than you are. So congratulations. Enjoy the recognition tonight, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing great, and we're all of us who grew up with you couldn't be prouder of the person you've become and the man that you are. So thank you.
Well, I've probably known him between 15 and 20 years. I've known him a long time, and I'm a fundraiser. I have a lot of commitments to a lot of organizations, and I'm the one that goes out and asks for money because God blessed me with that talent, and not a lot of people won't do that. So that's how I met Gabe the first time I went to his office when he was a very young banker, and I said, I need money for this project. And we talked, and we just hit it off. You know, there's some people you meet that you just instantly like, and Gabe was one of those with me. He's just a real kind gentleman. He's so easy to talk to and deal with. He's a wonderful businessman, so smart in what he does. And he's very, very involved in the community. He wants to make it a better place for all of us to live, and I think he's done that. We both worked on the USS Kingsville when we had that here. Don't live in Kingsville, but you know, it's a Clayburgh Bank. And we raised enough money that we were able to have a foundation for the crew on the ship. And if they have an emergency, they can dip into that and fly home or do whatever they need to do with it. So, and he was the one that helped me with that. So we have done a lot of projects with Baylor Medical. We've worked on that to get the kids from disadvantaged schools, which was Hicks, Cunningham, and Moody. And we have a program where they go through a medical training. It's actually curriculum through the school. And they go, the seniors from Moody go and they do internships at the Baylor Hospital. So he helped me with that when I needed money because we have to fund it. The school district doesn't fund it. So every year they tell me, well, you need $200,000 for this program. So I get with Gabe and he helps me raise it. We do bank with him, and he's just a great banker. He's able to do things that other banks can't do. And of course, he's been on all national boards and everything. He's just super smart in his business. And I think that anybody that needs a good banker, they just look to Gabe. And of course, now he's the port commissioner, and he's doing a beautiful job there. And that was a blessing that he was, you know, voted in. And hopefully he'll get to be the chairman. No, but I mean, he's just, he's an all-around amazing guy. He really is. Well, you know, I was looking at the 12, and of course, I could see those, every one of them for him. But the one I really liked, I've got my little cheat sheet here, but it was Reverend. And I know that Gabe is a very strong Christian, and I feel like he's a missionary from God, and I think that that has helped him in his journey, and I think it really helps him with the young people and with what he's doing for scouting. And I really know him well enough to know that that is one of the most important things in his life and his family. So to me, that was the number one. The others are great, though. I mean, he helps people. He's kind. They're all Gabe. They're just all Gabe. They really are. I don't know of a one that he doesn't fit. Gabe, you know this is not something I enjoy doing, and I'm doing it because it's you. And I love you. I'm very honored to be asked to do this for you because there's a lot of more important people that would say a lot better things about you probably than I can. But you're special to me. You're one of God's special people. Just keep doing what you do and don't change. You're a wonderful person and you're very special in all of our lives. And you've left footprints on my heart.
I first met Gabe and really just got to know him back in the days when he was the chairman of the Economic Development Commission. And I noticed his leadership skills and just the way that he made decisions. And, you know, it really stood out in my mind. And I said, you know, there's someone that we need to get involved in other organizations here in this city. And the first one that I talked Gabe into getting involved in was Christus Spawn. And then we got him on the executive committee, and now he's chairman of Christus Spawn. And Gabe just has these leadership skills that are just part of his DNA. And he's really a Horatian Alger story, in that here's somebody who grew up in Corpus Christi, you know, got his education at the University of Texas, went into banking, and today he is the leader at a very large community bank here in this area. And that just shows that Gabe has those leadership skills that had to be learned back when he was a scout. You know, Eagle Scout, it just makes an impression on someone that you never forget. And to use Gabe's own words, you know, Gabe says, if you do something for the right purpose, you've done your job. And if you do something for the right purpose, then basically you are accomplishing a mission of whatever organization you're working with. And whether it's Scouts, whether it's the Port of Corpus Christi, which Gabe is a commissioner, or whether it's the bank that he's part of, Clayburgh Bank, Gabe just has those innate skills that people want to hear what he has to say and follow his lead. Gabe exemplifies the Scout law. Whether it's trustworthy, loyal, friendly, brave, that's Gabe. And he's someone that I know as the chairman of the Port of Corpus Christi. I know that Gabe is there to do the right thing, and I can trust what he has to say. I can listen to what he has to say and follow his lead. Gabe, I want to congratulate you on receiving this honor. You exemplify everything that's meaningful about the Boy Scouts, and we're just happy that you are part of this community and all that you do for this area. Thank you.
So immediately when I got back almost 20 years ago now, it's closer to 20 than it is anything else, we connected in the community, and we were just kind of drawn to each other because we have very similar backgrounds. We both, in fact, our parents actually went to high school, we come to find out, together back in the 50s here at Roy Miller High School and so forth. And so there was just all these paths that were crossed, and so we immediately struck up friendship. His wife Lisa and my wife Jody became very good friends and so forth. And so, through all our interactions throughout the city, we couldn't help but, share all these similar stories and become very close friends in the community and colleagues out in the business world. His grounding in faith, family, and service is really what drew me to him. And with those underpinnings, our interactions and our crossings here, he's on all these boards. He's been on, he led the Del Mar College Foundation Board through a very, very difficult time. That time, a period was from 2020 to 2023 in that area. I mean, that was the height of COVID. And, with those kinds of interactions that we had together that really built up, our relationship. Also, the number of boards and activities serving across the community, my role here at Del Mar College president and other boards that I was on just really had us crossing paths at every turn. I just saw him last night. Our kids went to high school together and so forth. His girls and my boys are very good friends to this day. Now 3 of them are in college, 2 of his and 1 of mine and so forth, and even my little one remains big fans of his girls. His integrity is what is so admirable about him. Again, his faith, his dedication to faith, his dedication to family, and then service with all of that engrossed with his high level integrity just stands out. And I'm like, it's so refreshing to see someone whom I admire so much to be that sort of person. And one, because frankly, I would expect it. He has this way of kind of projecting that wherever he goes. And it settles the room, if you will. In many places, I've seen it settle the room when he walks in. And he walks in and it just, in a very unassuming way, demands high levels of integrity and respect and those kinds of things. And he has just a presence about him that I, like I said, I've always admired. He's younger than me, so I can refer to him as a younger brother or something like that, just numerically speaking. Maturity-wise, he's off the charts. Leadership skills, incredible. This community is very grateful to have he and Lisa and the girls still a very integral part of what we've got going on here in South Texas. Hey, compadre Gabe, congratulations, man. Well-deserved, not surprised. The only reason you didn't get it a few years earlier is because you're younger than all the other recipients and so forth. And as such, I just want to tell you, we love you much. We love you and Lisa and the girls very much, from Jody, Ben, and Lucas and I, and the Del Mar College family. Congratulations, man. But we're not surprised.
I was the CEO of Clayburgh Bank for about 20 years, and I hired Gabe in 2007. And then that relationship developed, and then in, I think, 2014, we designated him to be my successor as CEO. And then in 2018, I retired and Gabe became the CEO. I'm now vice chairman of the board, still active with the bank. So I've worked very closely with Gabe now for almost 20 years. First of all, Gabe's smart. He's extremely well educated. UT undergraduate, graduate school of banking from SMU, a 2-year management training at Ford. He's well educated. He works hard. He works long hours. He's got good business sense, good people sense. He's humble. He's kind. He's empathetic, and he cares very, very deeply about people and about his community. He's a man of faith and family. Lives family values. One of the things we do at Clayburgh Bank is we admire the old Jimmy Stewart movie, It's a Wonderful Life, and Gabe embodies the George Bailey character in that movie. He's a real community man. You just can't help but love Gabe. I would just tell you that being CEO of Clayburgh Bank is a full-time job and more, but then hours and the time commitment that he puts in with his community volunteer work, Gabe knows no boundaries on the clock. Many of our conversations start at 9, and that's 9 p.m., not a.m. He's always works hard, and he's committed. And that takes a lot of support from Lisa and their 2 daughters. They understand the difference between quality time and quantity time, and Gabe's able to really make that quantity time count with them, as well as just about every other interaction that he has in the community and in the bank and with the bank customers. He's just an exceptional person. A couple things really jump out. I guess the first one is trustworthy, and we've talked a lot about that. We think that trustworthy is a combination of both integrity and competence. And Gabe, I've seen Gabe in really challenging situations, and I've never seen his integrity waver in any small way, much as any kind of big way. He's the epitome of integrity. And then competence, he has a lot of really good competencies, but at the same time, he knows when he needs help. And he's humble enough, and his ego is small enough to where when he needs help, he does reach out for help, and he does know when to get help. And then because of his work and his personality, he's got a network of people out there that he can reach out to, and he knows who to call when he does need help. So I would rate him as probably one of the most trustworthy people I've ever worked with. And then he embodies all those other words in his helpful. He's always friendly, courteous, cheerful, kind, I think I've already mentioned. So while he's being helpful, all those other words are applied within that context. He's really an exceptional person. Okay, first of all, you're most deserving of this recognition. I know it means a lot to you because you've been a scout, an Eagle Scout, and supported scouting for all your life. So congratulations, it's well deserved. You're very greatly appreciated, not just in South Texas, but well beyond those borders. Your influence and your ability and your willingness to give of your time and talent is exceptional. You are truly a good and faithful servant. We appreciate you.
I've known Gabe for more than a decade. When I was at the Caller-Times, certainly I knew of him in his capacity as a business leader, but we became friends and worked more closely together when we both were on what was then the Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce, and we both served on the task force that merged the Corpus Christi Chamber with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And that was quite the undertaking to merge those two historic entities. And so I got to see firsthand Gabe's ability to build consensus and work with other people to accomplish something that I think ultimately benefited the entire community. I think through that experience and just becoming friends with Gabe and his wife over the years, I was so impressed with his humility. I, in my professional capacity, have had the privilege of knowing a lot of leaders in South Texas, and Gabe has always struck me as one of those people whose successes and whose profession and whose job never defined him. Gabe has such a core of a decent human being and doesn't really like to be recognized or awarded or in the spotlight. He feels like he does his work because it's the right thing to do. I have just always admired his, not just his servant heart, which is sometimes an overused phrase, but that really is who he is. He has not forgotten where he came from. He has not forgotten all of the help that he received along the way, certainly from scouting as part of that journey. But he sees people for who they are, and just wants people to understand him as he is too, not what's on the resume, not what may be the public persona, but who he is as a human being who connects with other people. I am familiar with the 12 points, and I agree, as so many do, that he does model and live by all of those. But the one that really strikes me, I think, is Gabe's ability to be brave in the everyday. And I say that because I have watched Gabe from afar and closely, particularly in interactions in public offices that he's held, not elected offices, but appointed offices, and in being involved in community issues. And Gabe is not somebody who pursues the popular opinion. He pursues what he thinks is right, and sometimes at his own peril, in terms of not being the popular opinion of what may need to be done. And he's not afraid. He has a lot of bravery. He's not afraid to stand up and say, I don't think this is right. Or if somebody says to him, yeah, that may cost you if you don't go along with this, he doesn't care. If he doesn't think it's right, he's not going to do it. Because he has such a sense of his own character and who he is, that he's not, we may know him as Gabe the banker or Gabe the public leader, but he knows himself as Gabe the person, the family man, who he is. And if for some reason all that other stuff was to disappear, he would be okay. But one of the things I will always remember about Gabe is how he has treated my father, who is now almost 95. My mother died 5 years ago, and they had lived in West Texas, and my father moved to Corpus Christi to be close to me. And, shortly after he moved here, he was probably almost 90 at the time. He's a little old-fashioned at age 90, and he needed to set up a local bank account. So I took him to Clayburgh Bank, where I do my banking. And, my father's not what you would consider a wealthy man, but he wanted, a local bank. And so we went and set up his account. And Gabe, the bank president, made the point of coming into the room where my father and I were. He had heard we were there, and he came into the room because he wanted to meet my father. He didn't just shake his hand, he sat down with us. He wasn't there to thank him for his business. He was there to express his condolences in the loss of my mother. And my parents had been married over 60 years. And he came in, he sat with us for quite some time, got to know my father, laughed with my father at one of the darkest periods of my father's life. And Dad left that meeting feeling very important that he knew a local bank president and has been such a fan of Gabe's ever since then. I don't know if he's ever even seen him again, but Gabe just made him feel welcome here, made him feel seen, frankly, in his grief, and shared that with him briefly, just to help my father feel a little bit better. And so, if you're nice to my dad, I'm indebted to you forever. So I will always love Gabe for that. Gabe, I just want to congratulate you on this much-deserved award. I can't think of anybody finer who deserves this recognition. I am so proud and honored to call you and Lisa my friends, and I just hope that you know how much this community is lucky to have you here, and I'm lucky to have you in my life. Thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us.